This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Apologies for being 5 minutes late tonight, but we had this morning, I'm losing my mind. There's so much going on with United, but literally just about to go live to talk about Van der Beek and Badiashile deals being closer. And we've had a bit of breaking news around Thiago to Manchester United now, which, look, I'm going to take with a huge pinch of salt. In fact, pass me the salt shaker because I need more than a pinch. I think there's a large part of me that just doesn't believe this. But Manchester United late entry into the Thiago transfer is what we are breaking with. We've got updates on Van der Beek as well. I've got some very, very interesting comparisons about Van der Beek because it's very hard to... You won't find Van der Beek in the top 5 assist makers, top 5 pass makers, anything like that. So I'm going to go through the stats of Van der Beek compared to Bruno, Matic and Pogba so you can see what he would bring to the team. But let's start off with the Thiago news. This is breaking. This is coming from Jan Argerfjortoft, who's been on the show. And look, he's got good connections in Germany. Very good friendships with Christian Falk and Fabrizio Romano, who've been, very, very good this transfer window. He's not the sort of person, I think, to chuck out nonsense. And what he's saying is that Thiago, well-connected Norwegian journalist, is reporting that Manchester United are in for Thiago as well. Frederick has a big hit rate on Manchester United news, and the two old rivals are battling for Thiago, and the CEO at Bayern expect an offer in the coming days. This could be a very significant week. And Frederick is Frederick and Filtvet, who is saying that Manchester United have entered the race for Thiago. And Jan Argerfjortoft says, I think it makes sense that Ollie wants a player like Thiago. If a player like him is available, a club like Manchester United should be on it. Bayern have got a bid for Thiago, and that opens the doors for other clubs. And Bayern are sending a signal to clubs, time to put in a bid. Then somebody said, it's clearly United being used to boost the bid, which I think, that was my initial reaction. We're just being used here because he's definitely going to Liverpool. And Jan has said Man United have not been bought in. They are not being used. Man United are interested in this player. No guarantee for where he ends up, but Bayern want this to be sorted in the coming week. And what we do know is that Thiago will leave Bayern Munich. And what we do know is that Liverpool are firm favourites to get Thiago. And what we do know is that Thiago, regardless of what you think about it, and I've said on this show, I really wouldn't like Thiago because at 29, he's got a bit of an injury record, and I felt that we were talking about Thiago a number of weeks ago instead of a Grealish or instead of a Van der Beek. If Thiago, as well as a Van der Beek, is coming in, that's very interesting. It gives us lots of quality and lots of depth. And I would do the deal. Of course I would. I mean, he's available for about £26 million. Thiago, for me, was never on his own. I wanted Van der Beek and Thiago, or Grealish and Thiago. And if that happens, I'm all over it. What I would say is that, and Alan has said it, this bid for Thiago is to raise the price for Liverpool to pay. Liverpool are the best team in England. Liverpool have won the Champions League in the last 2 years. Liverpool have got a very, 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 very good recruitment process. Chelsea getting Werner when Liverpool wanted him, to me, Werner's going to be a success. If United steal Thiago from Liverpool, then Thiago's probably going to be a very good player. I don't know whether that's going to happen. I don't think Liverpool... look, if you are Thiago and at 29 you want to be winning Champions Leagues, you want to be winning titles, is he going to do that at Manchester United? Is the lure of Manchester United's potential as big as the lure to go and play with Klopp and Liverpool, the best club in England? So that might be a sticking point. But United might be about to get involved in something very exciting here this morning. So we'll wait and see what happens with Thiago. I don't think we should get all excited. You've still got to be remembering PR spin. You've still got to remember we might be being used. You've still got to remember that this is the Glazers. We don't just suddenly go from 24 hours ago and sat on our arse to we're signing Van der Beek and Thiago. That's not Manchester United. So we must be very, very wary of this, but also excited. This is surprising. It's happening finally, says Pete Squire. Welcome to the member. We've got 3. Welcome to Drew Lamming, James Hickey and Matt Scott, latest members of the United Stand Members Club. Thanks for joining and supporting the channel. We're very close to 810,000 subscribers, by the way, so please subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Loads to get through this morning, and I'm sure we're going to be live throughout the day because it's suddenly picked up around Manchester United and it's exciting at least. Thiago will choose Liverpool over us all day. Let's not be naive. If Van der Beek's waiting to see if other teams come in for him, then I don't want him, says Sean Turner. And way I see it, Thiago is a class player, but the age is my only concern. How many years can we get out of him when he's at his best ability, says Alex Stephen. Well, I suppose one way to look at it, Alex, is he's 3 years younger than Matic, and he plays in that similar sort of position to Matic. I mean, look, I think Thiago as a backup to Matic, or as a player to bring out Matic is interesting. Christian Falk has also retweeted Jan Arge Fjortoft, and remember we had Christian Falk on last week. I asked him about Thiago and he said, look, Liverpool are favourites. I think he'll choose Liverpool, but Manchester United, you never know. So we beat the best team in England with half our best players out there, says Zane. Yeah, go and check out my reaction to winning in the Community Shield and then look at yours. Antoine Pitte and Joel Morris, latest members of the United Stand Members Club. And Mr. Romanusta says, Mark, have you got Ed on Twitter? Whoever you said that we should sign on Twitter, we are not interested in. And we're not going to get Thiago. Okay, let's see what happens with Thiago. This is breaking news. I was going to talk about Benoit Badiashile and Van der Beek, so I want to get onto that quickly. But Thiago, Man United, interested in. Let's see where we go with Thiago over the next coming hours and days. Exciting. And for me, I'm more than happy to get Thiago at the club. We should have got him when Moyes was here. But Moyes backed out and got Fellaini. If we can get Thiago, I'm very happy, but it's got to be Thiago and Van der Beek. It's got to be Thiago and Jack Grealish. It can't be those alone. And don't worry about Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is a priority, top priority for United. That's something very separate, so don't be worrying about that. What's going on with Van der Beek then, says Sahel. So right, are these rumours happening because we've stopped our pursuit of Sancho, now funds are going to other players, says Unsure. No, that's not what's happening with United here. I think they're having to escalate their transfer activity. And this isn't another Schweinsteiger mistake then, says James Pearce. Well, I don't think it is, because I think the fact that Liverpool want Thiago and how they scout, I think he'd be a very good player for us as well. I'm more excited about Thiago because I know that Liverpool want him, and if they want him, they've obviously seen that there is a player worth going for there. But let me talk to you about Van der Beek then. So loads of information about Van der Beek last night. We were quite late Saturday night talking about it. What's happened between then and now? Fabrizio Romano has said he doesn't expect this deal to be a 30-day deal. He expects it to be quite quick, which is interesting. I have heard, and I think this is just, to be honest, I don't necessarily believe this. I think this is probably just a little bit of reservation, a little bit of experience around United transfers. But what I have heard this morning is that all this monitoring of the deal, a lot of people are getting confused about the Van der Beek deal because we're monitoring the deal and we've not made a bid yet. And people are like, how can he be left out of an Ajax squad but we're only monitoring the deal? Surely they would just play him. And like I said last night, look, Bruno was playing games for Sporting Lisbon, in competitive games in January when we were very close to signing him. So why would Ajax remove Van der Beek from the squad just because we might put a bid in? So people are saying that, you know, what might have happened here is that Van der Beek, United have expressed an interest in Van der Beek. Van der Beek is pondering it. Ajax want to do the deal with United, but Van der Beek is sort of waiting to see or trying to urge a Barcelona or Real Madrid to come in. And that might be the hold-up here, that United have actually expressed big interest in Van der Beek. They want him. The Ajax have said, look, we're not playing you because we want you to go. We don't want you to get injured. But Van der Beek himself has said, look, if nothing else is going to happen, I'll go to Man United, but let's just give me a couple of days to see if I can get some interest for anywhere else. That would fly in the face of what Romano has said, that Van der Beek wants to come to the Premier League, and it might just be that United are waiting to put a bid in. But I do agree that my inclination is that United are going to get Van der Beek, and I'm very excited about it. I do agree with some people who are saying, well, why is he pulled out of a squad but then there's no bid? You don't do that. No club takes a player out of a squad if there's been no bid. I mean, look at Wilfried Zaha. He'll still be playing for Palace even though he might leave because there's no bid yet. You know, Sancho's still playing for Dortmund even though he's coming to United because there's no bid gone in yet. So it is a little bit confusing, but we'll see what happens with that. George says, I would prefer Grealish over Van der Beek if the price is lowered since he can play wide too. And that's from George. Zane, you won a glorified friendly celebrating like you won the league, says Sean Turner. This show's about the biggest team in the world, not mid-table teams. Yeah, well, as I said, that might be Arsenal's highlight of the season. Roger, welcome. Roger Saxberg, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Edward Walters says, I feel that Van der Beek is further than is being reported. Ajax would not leave one of their best players out just for we are monitoring the situation. I would agree with that. Zane says, Mark, I hope you do sign Van der Beek and Sancho as we will need a challenge when you come to the Emirates. And going after Donny, I think we would have made the deal with Sancho as well because we only do one deal at a time, or maybe Board has stepped up, says Shaunak. Van der Beek and Thiago would make sense over Grealish, more depth and overall cheaper by roughly 25 million, both football and business sense. And that's from Mike Thomas. And Swanan says, we are not signing Thiago. Liverpool news came an hour back that Klopp was told to look elsewhere as the age is an issue for a Liverpool board and Thiago transfer is unlikely. Okay, and Digital to Pulse, welcome to the members club. To the United Stand Members Club. Thanks everyone who's getting involved. Lots and lots of news coming and lots of news coming in while we're live, which is very exciting as well. I do want to talk to you about Van der Beek and how he fits into Manchester United statistically. But what I also want to say is that on Benoit Badiashile, I need to just get this out there because and Jan Algafjortov is saying that United definitely are interested. Liverpool may have backed off because of his age. The market is flooded with top-class players, though, and what I would say is this, and the person who said this is very right as well. Manchester United would have had to spend about £70 million on Jack Grealish. You will get Van der Beek and Thiago for 60. That is what I and many of you have been talking about for a very, very long time. Very long time. It's about you having faith in your foreign scouts. You spend 60 million, 70 million pounds on Jack Grealish, who is a very, very good player, who is playing for a club that nearly got relegated in the Premier League. He's not an England international, and there's no guarantee he's a top 4 player. You spend 60 to 70 million pounds on a British passport. You can get Thiago, one of the best midfielders in Europe this season, and Van der Beek, one of the best young midfielders in Europe this season, for the same price or less than Grealish. This is not even just a business decision. It's actually thick against clever. I like Jack Grealish, but it's if you can get Thiago and Van der Beek for the same price, United need to start going up yours to the overpriced British passport hype and go and do good business on the continent. Look at Man City's success over the last 10 years. Look at Liverpool's success. Most of their good players have come from the continent for relatively cheap prices. Firmino's, Salah's. Look at Liverpool. It's Man City as well. David Silva's, De Bruyne's, Aguero's, Bernardo Silva's. All right, you've got the Mahrez, you've got the Sterlings, you've got the Van Dijks, you've got the Manes. But, United need to do more of these continental signings because they'll be better quality for better prices. So, look, that is quite exciting. We'll see what happens. Look, maybe Liverpool have backed out of the Thiago deal, but if they have, is this not what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said in late March? There's an opportunity to take advantage of this market. And maybe, just maybe, United have bided their time in this market to take advantage of this market. Let it go a little. I mean, I was thinking about this morning. I'm starting to get, quite excited about this because I've always said, I think United's transfer activity has been a joke. A disgrace is the word I've used. But I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, if they turn it around, then you judge the transfer market at the end of the transfer window. And if we come out of it with a couple of midfielders and Jadon Sancho and a centre-back, you go, bloody hell, what a window that is. So maybe United have looked at this and gone, we're going to play the long game here. The long game won't work with Sancho, they'll have to pay. But the long game might work with Thiago and it might work with Van der Beek and it might work with Badiashile, where clubs go, we want this much. But the closer you get to the transfer deadline, they go, shit, we better take the money and we better take it now so we can use it. So let's just see. Look, you've always got to have that trepidation. You've always got to have that concern that Manchester United transfers take a long time. Sometimes we get, make ourselves look silly, and that's total evidence. So yes, you're right to be cautious, but look, it is exciting. It's more exciting than it's been for 3 weeks, isn't it? Welcome to Elliot Shepherd and Edward Hughes, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Zachary says, maybe we're getting better at deals. I think Dortmund were the ones who held up Sancho last minute asking for more up front. If these deals happen, then it was definitely on Dortmund. Now get Bailey, says Zachary. And Mark, do you think we need to be looking for a left back as well, or do you think we should hold off to the next transfer window? Also, Zane's a Pratt, says Crosby. I think a left-footed left back to back up or challenge Luke Shaw would be nice, but I don't think it's a deal we'll do this window. I think we're gonna, if we can get a left-sided centre back, a midfielder, and a right winger, I said I'd be happy. If we get more than that, great. Let me talk to you about Benoit Badiashile, then we come back to some other news. Marca, very close to Real Madrid, they're talking about the Benoit Badiashile deal, and what they're basically saying is that Zidane sees Badiashile of Monaco, 19, left-sided centre back, as the next Varane, that sort of player. And he would like to have him at Real Madrid, but Real Madrid don't feel that they can do this deal until next summer, which gives Man United that opportunity again to jump on a foreign transfer that big clubs want that they can't do at the moment. And let's not forget, if Thiago ended up at United, Liverpool wanted him. If Van der Beek ends up at United, Real Madrid want him. If Badiashile ends up at Manchester United, Real Madrid wanted him. These are players that we should be going for. Instead of the Di Marias that Real Madrid don't want anymore, or the Falcaos that are past it, or the Bastian Schweinsteigers that Bayern Munich wanted to get rid of, we're going for players that big clubs want now, and we're getting them. Hopefully that's what's happening here. So what Marca is saying is that Benoit Badiashile, Monaco will take 30 million euros plus add-ons. Well, 30 million euros is 25 million quid with a bit of add-on. That's a very good deal for a centre-back that Real Madrid wants. 25 million quid. So there's deals opening up here for United that are very well priced. They're not, they're not bloody Harry Maguire at 80 million or Wan-Bissaka at 50 million because they've played in the Premier League and they've got a British passport. Badiashile is well thought of in European football. 25 million quid. Thiago, a little bit older, but 25 million quid. Van der Beek, young, very well thought of in Europe. 35 million quid. These are the deals that United should do, because the minute they buy them, apart from Thiago, their price can double in a season. So we've got to be all over these deals. Jack is a left wing option. Neither of them are. So Suhash. Why do we need a left wing option? Since when did we ever need a left winger? We don't need a left winger. We need we need a midfielder. We need backup for Bruno and Pogba and competition. We don't need a left winger. We don't need a left winger. That's never been a priority this summer because Sancho can play left wing, Martial can play left wing, Greenwood can play left wing. So we don't need a left winger. Mark, Grealish is hyped because he's English and played for a rubbish team. Why do teams waste money on Grealish, Maguire and Chilwell? Says Zane. I know when you could waste money on Willian, but not everyone's Arsenal. And we could give Villa, Romero and Dalot, get them off the wage bill plus 40 million, says Sean Turner. I mean, look, where does everybody actually sit here at the moment? Would you be happy with Thiago and Van der Beek instead of Grealish? Would you rather get Grealish? Would you rather have Van der Beek or Grealish? Where do you stand at the moment? I like Grealish. I think he's a very good player. And I wouldn't mind him at Man United, but I'll take Van der Beek over Grealish, and I'll definitely take Van der Beek and Thiago over Grealish. I mean, whether we're going to get any of these things, I don't know. But apparently Van der Beek is not in the squad for Ajax again today. I mean, man, this is just a nothing news. I would have spoken about it if there hadn't been so much news around, but apparently United are interested in Salzburg striker Patson Daka. Be a load of crap. We won't be signing him. But that was something I wanted to talk about. I want Grealish and Thiago, says George Kyle. Not a fan of Van der Beek then. Thiago and Van der Beek, says Arbaz. Thiago and Van der Beek, says Julian. And Thiago and Van der Beek is what a lot of people are going for. Look, I'm not being disrespectful to Patson Daka, but we won't be signing him. No to Grealish. Van der Beek's much better, says Praveen. And a left-footed winger may be important, says Pete Squire, but it's not a priority, Pete. Right wing's a priority, midfield's a priority, left centre-back's a priority. I love the Thiago deal. Perfect stopgap to let Gardner, Levitt and Traore come good. Take Van der Beek every day over Jack, says Zachary Purvis. And that's a very intelligent comment as well from Zachary, because remember, we have got younger players like Garner who are going to be on loan this season. And Thiago coming in, and he's another leader. He's another experienced player. Look, I'm speaking like we're going to sign Thiago and he's going to hold a Liverpool shirt up. I mean, but if he goes to Liverpool, I think he's a very good signing. There's nothing lost in this. If Thiago's holding up a Liverpool shirt, Liverpool fans will go, ha ha, he chose us over you. But to be honest, that's a sign of the times. If a player chooses Liverpool over United at the moment, is it a surprise? Look, Werner, very good signing for Chelsea. I think Gabriel to Arsenal, I think that's I wouldn't mind him coming to United. I think it's worth a go. So people are doing good business. Doherty to Spurs, I think that's a good signing as well. So if we can get Thiago, what a steal. If we don't get him, well, we don't get him, do we? But we've got to get some players in. Do we have the money for Thiago, Van der Beek and Sancho? I think we're waiting until Liverpool pulls the trigger. Grealish don't think we'll push the move, says Extra Z. I said yesterday I think Grealish is trying to force the move, but at the end of the day, Villa are going to say, Aki went for 40 million. You're not having Grealish for anything less than 60. And the minute Villa wants 60 million for Grealish is the minute United can go, hold on a minute, we can get Van der Beek and Thiago for 60. So he's priced out of the market. Grealish is priced out of the market, and he can try and force it, and maybe he can force it. But Villa, probably rightly, want 60 million for him, and that prices him out of the market. And poor old Jack Grealish, not in the England squad, deserved to be. Doesn't get his move when he kept them up. I mean, if you're Grealish, the only thing you can cling on to is that you know the Villa fans love you and you love Aston Villa, because realistically he should be getting his move off last season, but he's priced out of the market because he's English and he's in the Premier League, and that's it. And I just don't think Villa will knock that price down to 50 million. They just, I mean, to be honest, to be fair to Villa, when Aki goes for 40 million, I think that killed the Grealish deal, because you're like, why should we take 50 million for Jack Grealish when Nathan Aki's just got relegated and gone for 40? I'd rather get Kante from Chelsea than getting Grealish and Van der Beek. I know we won't be signing him, but what do you think, says Key? Hi Mark, is UK safe enough to start the new season with a full house stadium? No, Abhishek. Mark, I think Tierney was buy of the season. He's worth nearly 50 million now. And Mark, what do you think of Benfica's Grimaldo as a left-back option? Sure, his class, but fitness always an issue, says James. So a few people talking about the left-back situation. Signing of the season, Zane, is Bruno. We've paid £47 million for him. He's probably worth 100 now in 6 months. So finally, I was yelling at you that to be patient. Man United is waiting on other deals and they will sneak in. We still have time. Happy to be on the same page, says Nabil. And Ben says, I think Grealish is a better player. He created more chances than any English player in the league last season, but it's better to save a bit of money to put towards the Sancho deal. And that's what I think it ultimately will come down to. I mean, Grealish has always been Solskjaer's priority in the midfield, but sometimes a deal can't be done. Horrible feeling that the new transfer speculation comes at the expense of Sancho falling through. If all happens, I'd be delighted. Chelsea are concerning, says Ash G. I'm still totally focused that Man United will get Sancho, 90% sure. Fred might go. That's why we're in for 2 midfielders, says Sankit. I mean, I think that's a very intelligent comment. Please subscribe if you're new, by the way. The United transfer news is escalating, so make sure you're subscribed. You've got your notifications on with the bell, bottom right-hand corner to subscribe, and then the bell to put all notifications on. And smash a like on the video. Still got lots to get through, by the way. Fred might go, says Sankit. I think that's very interesting, because I heard this yesterday. In fact, Drawty sent me the message of it from his source, saying that United might get Van der Beek and Grealish and let Fred go, because there's rumours of Galatasaray, isn't there? I'd be disappointed to see Fred go. I'd rather see McTominay go than Fred. I think Fred actually has had a better season than McTominay, and he was better than him in the Europa League. So letting Fred go, to me, is letting a good player go to keep a young player who's not actually had a very good last 6 months. But there might be something in that. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it is being mentioned, so Sankit might be right with that. Why would Van der Beek want to go to the absolute sinking ship that is Barcelona right now, and not ideal for a young talent, says Stephen? Well, Frankie de Jong's there, isn't it? So teammates. And also, some people want to go to a big club to see it turn round. Winning says it makes no sense for us, first deal of the market to be Sancho. Lets every club know we've got money to spend. He's going to be last in. Could the Van der Beek and Thiago rumours be PR spin so that we don't get Sancho, says LTG? I don't think it's anything to do with Sancho. I think Sancho is separate. Sancho will be done, but it could be PR spin to make us feel happy when we're feeling pissed off. But then what I would say about that is, if we don't get Van der Beek and we don't get Thiago, all right, it stops the anger for a bit, but it will just get turned on even more when they don't happen. Donny, a centre-back, Sancho and a left-back over Thiago. We've got Fred too. Maybe midfield will be sorted. Williams can't cover for sure, and we need time to sell players, says Danielle. Marcus says, mate, are you not terrified about one of the greatest players of all time joining City? Absolutely nightmare for me. Messi. And what are your thoughts about Tonali and Fred? Also, is it possible that we get Grealish, Thiago and Van der Beek instead of Jadon? Says Mazes. No. Why would you spend 70 million on Jack Grealish when for 30 million more you get Sancho? And if we get Van der Beek and Thiago with Pogba, Matic and Scott able to play the deeper midfield role, could you see progression with the Fred rumours, says Arkon? And again, yes, I do on that. But what I want to do, I mean, there's just so much going on here. Let me just have a quick see and see if anything else has happened while we've been talking. What I wanted to do is Ajax, no Van der Beek in the Ajax squad today. Ajax have got an excellent relationship with Manchester United, and they already know how much United are interested in Donny van der Beek, but they're still waiting for an official bid. That's from what we said. And Donny van der Beek to Man United is not as advanced as speculation would suggest. There's still work to do if he is to move. That's coming from the Manchester Evening News. not as advanced as expected. That's brief. That's a brief from the club. So settle down with Donny van der Beek. Then it's not going to be happening today by the sounds of it. And also, I think this is from ESPN. They're saying that Manchester United and Donny van der Beek represents a good opportunity in a difficult window. Right age bracket, wants to move and price not extortionate. No bid yet, but interest is there. That's from ESPN. So I think in relation to Van der Beek, it's looking like there is definite interest from United, but monitoring, no official bid yet, not advanced as we had hoped. So that is interesting. But let me just tell you something about Van der Beek here. I think you're going to enjoy this next couple of minutes. Let me just go through this for you. So, I mean, if we sell Fred, Galatasaray rumours, would Thiago and Van der Beek make sense, says Rid Mahoy. Let me just tell you this. Right, so Van der Beek, you're not going to find him in the top, assisters or anything like that. I mean, Grealish has been fouled more than anybody in Europe this season across the top 5 European leagues. You're not going to find Van der Beek like that. But I just wanted to just go through some comparisons. So I've chucked Van der Beek in with Bruno, Pogba, Matic, and I'm going to compare like passing and tackling and things like that. So you see what you're getting for Van der Beek. Age-wise, he's the youngest of the lot. Bruno's 25, Van der Beek's 23, Grealish 24, Matic 32, Pogba 27. Now, successful defensive actions per 90 minutes. 6.49 for Bruno, 6.7 for Van der Beek, 8.17 for Matic, and 7.26 for Pogba. So Pogba and Matic better in the defensive areas than Van der Beek. Defensive duels won, 68% for Van der Beek, which is better than Matic's 57% and Pogba's 60%. So what that shows you with Van der Beek is a tenacity to win the ball back, and he's better than anybody we've got for that. Aerial duels, we don't really care about that. Aerial duels won, we don't really care about that. Sliding tackles, shots blocked. Interceptions per 90 minutes. Matic 4.4, Pogba 3.2, Bruno 2.5, and Van der Beek 2.7. So again, he's a bit behind Pogba and Matic, but he's ahead of Bruno there. And let me have a look at... I wanted to have a look at his passing. So passing's interesting. Passes per 90 minutes, 54 on average, 54 by Bruno, 66 by Matic playing a deeper role, 65 by Pogba, 37 by Van der Beek. So he's down on passes per 90. Forward passes per 90, Matic and Pogba on 20, Bruno on 17, and Van der Beek on 10. And forward passes accuracy, Bruno 63%, Van der Beek 75%, Pogba 75%. So there's similarities, but I think what we're starting to build a picture here with Van der Beek is he's not as creative and as attacking as Bruno, and he's not as good defensively as Pogba and Matic, but he's ticking around Pogba and Bruno for what they're good at. And he's an in-betweener. So he can do the Pogba role and he can do the Bruno role, which is very important for United. But the Matic role isn't really him. If you look at where Van der Beek has played over the last season, and I wrote this down somewhere, he's played 29% of his games in the Pogba role, which is the right-sided midfield role, and he's played 26% in the attacking midfield role, which is Bruno. And he's played 20% in more Matic roles. So he can do all of them. His preferred position is probably Bruno's, but he can also do the Pogba position, and that's what you get with him. From an attacking point of view, when we compare him, successful attacking actions per game, 5 for Bruno, 2 for Van der Beek, and only 1 for Matic, and 3 for Pogba. Goals per 90 minutes, 0.25 goals per 90 minutes, 0.5 for Bruno, 0.03. And 0.05 for Pogba. So he's better than those. And just to add Grealish in there, 0.23 for Grealish. So he's got around the same as that. Assists per 90 minutes, 0.38 for Bruno, 0.14 for Grealish, and 0.16 for Van der Beek. Of course, you've got to take into account that Van der Beek is playing for Ajax in the Eredivisie as well, and Grealish is playing for Villa. So look, I mean, that was just a snapshot. Sorry, it wasn't a snapshot. A snapshot of what Van der Beek brings very, very quickly. And I think what you need to understand about Van der Beek is that he basically gives you cover for Pogba and Bruno. Probably not quite as good as Pogba, Not quite as good as Bruno, but very good player in those two positions. And that's what we're looking for. That is what we're looking for with Van der Beek. What Thiago brings you is cover potentially for Pogba and Matic. So with Thiago and Van der Beek, you get better, way better than Fred and McTominay, and you get coverage for all three possessions. So that's what you would look for that. But with Van der Beek, it's definitely very good cover and potential at 23 to cover Pogba and Bruno, which is exactly what we need at United. We have had this kind of speculation for Sancho for weeks now. How can we trust this news around Van der Beek, says Vicky. Zayn obviously has more money than brains, says Fred. And can you give me a quick summary of what I missed, mate, says S. Razul. And Mark, I think, yeah, we've done that one. So the summary of where we are at the moment is that Van der Beek may take a little bit longer than people are thinking. That's what's coming out this morning. Manchester Evening News are saying it's not as advanced as some people think. So fasten your seatbelt on Van der Beek. He may well be waiting for a better offer. It may well just be United taking ages to do a deal. So let's see what happens with Van der Beek. But we're definitely in for Van der Beek, which is exciting. Breaking news that we're in for Thiago. This has been confirmed by Jan Arge Fjortoft, and Christian Falk has confirmed it as well. So he's very close to Bayern Munich. So United looking like they are in for Thiago as well, which is very exciting. I still think Liverpool are favourites, but we're in for him. Badiashile is available for about 25 million quid, and it's a clear path to him. So United have got 3 signings they can do. And look, forget about Sancho. Not in relation to we're not signing Sancho. Sancho is a deal that, for me, is going to happen. I just don't know when it's going to happen. But I don't think any of this activity hits on the Sancho deal. So that's where we're at the moment. United making moves in the transfer window at last. Now, nobody's holding a shirt up it yet. So I don't think we need to start saying Woodward and Glazers are acting like a boss. I don't want to see any of that. 2 days ago, we were all saying they're a disgrace. It's a business, not a football club. We also got from Sky on Friday that United are relaxed. Maybe they were relaxed sitting on this news knowing that this all was going to happen. Maybe they were relaxed knowing that they were going to spin the PR plates and change the opinion. The reality is, it's very exciting around United at the moment, and United can rescue this transfer window and come out of it in a very strong position. But people have got to be holding up the shirts. You don't get the fans on side for a bit of PR activity. You've got to get them holding the shirts. And we need Van der Beek holding a shirt, Thiago holding a shirt, Badiashile holding a shirt, and Jadon Sancho holding a shirt. If we do that, that's a boss summer. If we get Van der Beek, Badiashile and Sancho, that's a brilliant summer. If we get Sancho and Van der Beek, that's a good summer. If we only get Sancho, it's great, but it's not what we need. We need more than that. So United have given themselves an opportunity here. The news is around, the credible news is around Van der Beek and Sancho and now Thiago and a bit about Badiashile. How many of those 4 deals can we get done? If we get all 4 done, this club means business. It wants to be a football club. If it gets none of them done, we are a business and we're not a football club. Interesting. It's very interesting. It's changing by the hour and I'm very excited at this moment in time. Why wouldn't you be? Real Video says finally we get a Herrera replacement. Woodward with transfers is like seeing a queue and he walks past and asks what everyone is queuing for, says Burka. Second game, Donny isn't playing. Something must be progressing quite quick, wouldn't you think? The news saying not so fast doesn't make sense. The thing is, when Manchester Evening News say that the deal is not advanced as much as people think, for me, that is a red flag that Man United have told Manchester Evening News that, and they want it out there like they did with the Sancho story. Remember, Sancho was happening on August the 4th, and then the British press got briefed by United to slow it down. I don't think we're signing Van der Beek today or tomorrow. Not if I think United have basically put it out there that, look, this is not as advanced as you think. We're interested, but it might not happen. So I would back off the Van der Beek deal a little bit and say this is not as close as we think. And look, I said it at 7 o'clock last night when it broke. I don't think we'll get Van der Beek. I still don't think we will. But what I would say is when Romano and everyone else is talking about it, it looks like it should happen. But I've always felt that Van der Beek's too good to be true for United. Part of me... And I am being negative on this one, and I am being probably reverse psychology as well. I just think maybe he is using us to get the Real Madrid move or the Barcelona move. But look, if we can get him at United and he genuinely wants to come, it's great. If we get all 4 hats off to United, says Luke Purdy. And do you think Sancho will be done on the 7th because of the number 7, says Deek? Well, You never know. You never know. Look, thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. Bottom right hand corner. Get your notifications. I think we're going to be live a few times today. Sunday night show tonight at 8 o'clock will definitely happen. Ricky, Saeed, Adam. But I think we'll be live again at some point today because the news is moving so fast. So it's exciting, and I'll speak to you very soon.